Mike.
Pastor Jim.
Well, it's so good to see you, brother. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Always good. Always got things to be thankful for and loving the Lord.
Right on, brother. So everybody, Mike Mackow is in Cleveland, and we go way back. Yay! Go try. We go way back to I think the 80s, right?
Yeah, 89.
Yeah. So we moved to Cleveland, and we got involved with the church, and then eventually we started working with the kids many years later. And we started working with the kids, and Mike was one of the guys that helped me so much. He played in the band. He did witnesses. He did act out stories. I think Mike was one of my favorite act out story people of all time because he just was not afraid to be silly.
You say act up?
No, act out stories.
Oh, okay.
So Mike, we've been great friends. Every so often I'll go to Cleveland. We'll hang out together. We'll go to this place called the West Side Market. We'll get a brat sandwich, sit on the balcony, watch people. Mike is one of these guys that just you don't have to be together all the time to feel like you're great friends. And as soon as you get back together, you're just like you never left each other. And Mike is one of those guys, everybody. And I wanted to have him on tonight because he has a very great story that goes along with this whole weekend of being a caregiver. So Mike, tell us the situation that was going on with your mom and how you had to take care of her.
Well, she was getting a little old I am. I don't, you look the same.
You need glasses, bro.
You're right. I do.
Ah, there you go.
Well, my dad went to see the Lord back in 1987.
Yep.
My sister went to the Lord in 2003, and my brother decided to go in 2008.
Wow.
Which left me as the only other person in the family. And my mom lived alone. She lived alone after my brother had passed away.
Yep.
My sister and brother had lived with her up until that time, and she was still able to get along and even still drive a car. And it seemed the year after my brother passed, she was having a tough time driving the car since she went to leave the yard one time and backed it into the house, not down the driveway. So I only lived one street away, and I would come over and take her shopping when she had to go in that. And then in 2000, well, it would be all of 12, all of 11, about July 2010, we found out she had lung cancer and it was spreading. So we started some chemo for 2 months, and it really didn't do good with her. It made her not able to walk, not able to do things, couldn't think straight. So we stopped the chemo, and they told me she would live for about 2 months without the chemo. So I only lived a street away. It was very easy for me to come over here. In fact, I moved over here because it was so hard for her for a couple of months. And then after about 2 months of no chemo, she was starting to get around by herself and that. And I would come over and make her meals. And then on Easter of 2011, I called her to tell her we were bringing some stuff over, and she goes, "No need to. I just made a ham," which is like, wait a minute, they said you'd be dead. And it was fine. She actually got back to her normal self and lived for about 2 more years.
Wow.
But it was all downhill from then on. She got weaker and weaker, so I would have to, if she come out of the house, it was for me taking her somewhere, and she had to use a wheelchair. So I would take her out in that, and it got more and more until about September of 2012, and it was very hard. She was hardly able to get out of bed. I had to help her get out of bed. She wouldn't be able to go to the store with me anymore. I wouldn't be able to take her down the steps because she couldn't even though I was holding her up, she couldn't go down the steps. So I had to move back in with her because it was a 24-hour day job pretty much besides me working.
Right.
And I could have complained, but God showed me a very important subject or a lesson that he taught me. For all the years up to there since my dad died, my brother and sister would live with her all the time and actually spent all their time where they were the only ones that she spent time with.
Right.
And I only lived a street away, but I didn't come over much because things were going on with my brother and sister. My cousins sometime were living there. So it was a full house, but not a beneficial house. Well, now I was thinking, Lord, I didn't get to see my mom a lot in the last 15 years. And now it's very tough that I have to do things with her. Mm-hmm. And God said, but you got her all to yourself. Nobody else in my way. I got to sit with her. I made her all her meals every week. I'd make everything that she liked. She kept her humor up. Though she was losing weight, her favorite meal of the day was 2 donuts and ice cream. And she said, boy, if there's any good side for cancer, this is it. I wish I could have done this my whole life. So
what was the hardest part about all that? I mean, I get it. Because I have a similar story, but not nearly as long. My mom, I didn't know it at the time, but she went on vacation with us. We went to the beach in Delaware, and she went with us, and it was an amazing trip for a week. But then when we went back to Virginia, she stayed with us for a month, and I got to listen to her and talk to her. I heard stories that I had never heard in my whole life. And it was a real connection. So I understand that about you and your mom. You got to connect with her. And I always felt like that month, because that was really the last time I saw her alive. And when she went back to Missouri, she lasted maybe a couple more months, but then she was gone. And I was just really blessed by the time I got to spend with her. Just like you were with your mom, you got to connect with her on a level that you had never been able to do before. So, but what was the hardest part about all that?
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, not everything was hard. I mean, I loved making her the meals. I would make her a meal for 4 days so that I can make her breakfast, lunch, or like one of the meals I would come home from work and make her dinner sometimes.
Yeah.
But she would just be able to go to the refrigerator and pick out what she wanted to eat that day. And of course, I would make all the things that she loved. And it would take me 1 day to make all the meals for a whole week. So, and then I put them in containers in the refrigerator, and it was nothing. And she joked about that. She goes, boy, it's like living at the Ritz. She used to have all her favorite food, and every day her donuts and ice cream. That was still every day. Oh, I can't believe it. Can I have another donut today? It was like, sure you can. And
well,
my favorite part, though, was spending time with her.
Yeah.
Even though it's very humbling to know that your mom is not able to do things anymore, and humbling that there's things you can't, how should I put it, very discreetly do things. And you just have to very much humble yourself and do it, because she did it for you. She would always ask me, how did I get a son to do this? I said, well, you had me born. You did all this for me when I was little, and you didn't bat an eye. So why did you do it for me?
Right.
And,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's never an easy thing, but being a caregiver, we're talking about that this week with the kids, because it's on Friday, it's National Caregiver Day. And I know there's a lot of caregivers right now because, of the COVID and people having to take care of family members and being isolated. And, there's a lot of people, that are caregivers that don't get a paycheck to do it. There are some that do, but, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I think, that was you with your mom, and you were showing her how much she meant to you, and just taking care of her like that with really nothing in return. You didn't need anything in return.
But even though I got a lot in return, the last month, I even had to take a month off of work because it was a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
I had to deal with the pain and administering medicine and cleaning up. And God showed me that's him to us. He's got to clean us up every day. And even though he cleans us up today, tomorrow, a lot of times I'm messy again.
Yeah.
And he's got to clean me up again.
That's right.
And he never complains. He just loves doing it.
He loves us so much, and he just, he doesn't even blink. You're right. He doesn't blink an eye. He doesn't even blink an eye.
Yeah.
So, this week we're telling the story of Boaz and Ruth. And I love how, the story unfolded where, Ruth, her husband passed away, her mother-in-law, Naomi, she just didn't have any income. Her husband had passed away, and she had this land, that she owned, but it had to be offered to the closest relative, which wasn't Boaz. And I love the conversation between Boaz and the closer relative and the witnesses that he brought. And he's like, Naomi's going to need to sell her land. Do you think you want to buy it? And the guy's like, well, of course I do. Why wouldn't I want to buy it? And he goes, and then he had this a little twist of the story. So you realize that anybody who buys the land is actually going to have to take Ruth as the wife and be father to her children. And then that was like, I'm not going to be able to do that. It's Boaz was in love with Ruth so much. And just like you were in love with your mom, just like God is in love with us, that it doesn't even bother him at all. The things that he has to do for us, the things that you had to do for your mom, that Boaz had to take care of this family. He had an immediate family that he had to take care of. But when you love somebody, you do whatever you have to do. And I think that's the favorite part of that story for me. I don't know about you, if you have a different favorite part or not.
Oh, well, it's one of my favorite movies. I always play it in my mind.
Yeah.
I cry every time I read it. As you can see, it shows God's love for us. Yep. And how he redeemed. He didn't just take care of them. He brought them back up to his plateau of God's child. He made sure that Ruth was not just taken care of, totally loved.
Yep. Yeah, and she had never been loved like that before. I can almost guarantee it. And
one other big thing, we don't always know God's purpose. And right. God's purpose in that was unbelievable. Yeah. Because Ruth had a baby. And that was King David's grandpa.
I love that part. And that's Jesus' line. His earthly father, that was his line as well. It's an amazing thing that, sometimes you don't know the outcome of something like that, but God did. And it's amazing part.
And Ruth probably just figured everything's lost. I'll trust my mother-in-law, and stuck with her. So it's again back putting our trust in God. He's there giving us this to our life for a reason.
Man, the kindness that God shows us every day is amazing. And it's just a great part of God, the love story of God and us. It's great.
Amen.
Hey, I wanted to mention that you wrote a book.
Yeah.
I wanted to advertise it. I wanted
Hold
to.
on.
Okay, go get a copy of it so you can hold it up. Do you know love? Nice.
Have you ever been beat up, slandered, and absolutely hated by the one you love the most?
I think everybody goes yes on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike,
You can get it online or at any bookstore online, or you can get it, what do you call it? So you can download it instead of getting it paper.
so I will put the link up. I'll put a copy. I'll capture a copy of the picture of the book, and then I'll put a link to it on Amazon and because Mike he had me read it and go through it before it was published, and it was a great honor for me to be able to do that. And it was just a great read from a great fella, Mike Mackow, right there.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, hey Mike.
How much do I owe you for this?
Zero, man. My pleasure to do that. Hey, one more thing, Mike. Would you pray for the families, the parents that watch this, the people that they would be encouraged today?
Praise God, sure will. Father in heaven, you who love us so much and have done so much, not only just so much, everything for us. I pray that all the people who are in caregiver situations, that it's not for nothing. It's God's provision that he's put you into. I pray that you feel the love of God when you are giving your caregiving that he gives to us every day. I pray that you would really enjoy the care that you give and do it with joy. Not just many times, most of the times, it was very hard. Not just hard, but very hard. But in every time, every minute that it was hard, I might not have been happy at the time, but I had joy. And I knew God loved me. And I asked, Lord, that you would give everyone the joy that you have of them giving care, and let them know how much you love them. In your name, Jesus.
Oh,
amen.
Amen, brother. I knew you could do it. I just knew it. I knew it. I knew it the minute. I think one of my favorite moments was when we were doing the play. What would you do? And your son Michael was going to play the guitar on stage as well. What are you going to do? And Michael was going to play the guitar, and you were trying to work it out with him, and it wasn't working. So you just said, okay, Michael, I want you to just do it, what you're going to do, and then I will match.
I'll play it.
And it was like magic. It was like, it worked so well. It was like Mike just, and it was just like, it was perfect with what Michael was doing. And it, instead of the other way around, you trying to teach him what to do. No, it was like you watched him and then you mimicked him. It was awesome.
Well, thank you.
We had a lot of fun. What was that?
Said if I can remember that. No, I do. That was one thing I do remember.
We've had some amazing times. I'm looking forward to many more stories. We used to go to baseball games together, everybody, and just laugh and have so much fun. And our favorite game I went to with Mike was it was at the old stadium in Cleveland. So the lighting wasn't real good. And we're sitting there. We were on the third base side, right?
Yeah, but right close to home plate.
So we were really close to as close to the field as you could get. And somebody on the Indians hit a fly ball out to right field, and the right fielder went back, and he's like, he holds his glove up like he's going to catch it. It bounces off of his head and bounces over the wall, and everybody's like, it's a home run. And Mike's like, we're all like, well, what just happened? And Mike's like, what happened? I think it went off his head for a home run.
Yeah,
and they still play that.
that is considered the funniest baseball moment of all time.
We were there.
Yeah.
We saw it happen.
With maybe 200 other people. And I don't remember his last name. His first name was Carlos that hit the home run. Real tall guy.
Oh yeah. Carl, I don't remember his last name either, but they still play that on ESPN. That is like one of the like you said, the funniest moment in baseball history. And we were there. And the rest of the game, the guy behind us that was the great heckler, he kept yelling, "Hit it to the guy that hits it off his head."
They didn't do it again, though. They tried.
No, they tried, but it didn't work. All right, Mike. Well, thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you, Pastor Jim.
Love
Thanks
you, man.
for asking me to come on and
It's an honor.
tell my story.
All right, brother.
Thank you. Bye-bye.